This was something that I was telling Demetris when he came in. I was like, man, I love the beard. At one time, I had a beard that was mid-chest on me.
Okay.
It was massive, and it's a big respect because not a lot of people can grow beards, and not to know how to take care of them and treat them properly is a big thing too.
It is.
So I had to compliment you on the beard.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's didn't have the beard. The beard was actually like an act of rebellion against the man.
Yeah.
Because I worked in corporate finance. And
so it was after that.
tech. Yeah, so I left the industry.
They made you shave.
Yeah. Well, I pushed the limit. So when I finally left the corporate world, I just had kind of let it grow for quite a while. And that was like, I think it was like a year. My beard was getting pretty long, and my boss comes in and he says, Sam, looks at me and says, Demetris, we have something to talk about. And I was like, the beard, huh? He's like, yeah, how do you know? And I was like, well, because the corporate policy is 1/4 inch. And I said, it's definitely about 6 to 8 inches now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so you going to shave it? And I was like, no, I was just waiting to see how long until you came and talked to me, and then I'd leave.
Really?
And he was like, serious? And I was like, yeah, I started multiple things. I want to go do it myself. So
yeah. Awesome. What part of the corporate world were you in? Like, what were you doing that required you to have short facial hair? Were you working with direct customers? Were you a face of a business? Were you like, if you're working in an office where you're only working with your coworkers every single day, I could understand if you're on the news or if you're like making commercials or if you're doing something like that. But were you doing that, or what was your position that they were like, this guy needs to shave his beard?
No, so I'd had periodically long beards here and there. So I worked in a very, very interesting line of global finance and logistics. So I worked some overseas with different, defense contracts and stuff. So at times, like I had longer beards then, but when you were back at headquarters, like there was an expectation that you had to like clean it up. And that was like my active defiance was, not, and then just doing it myself after, when somebody brought it to my attention, I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I think I'm going to go run my own company.
There's something about being a man and just wanting to grow a beard.
Yep.
What is that? Like, what is it with guys wanting to grow a beard? What is that significance? I really don't know what it is, but I remember like I always wanted to be able to grow a beard.
Yeah.
And I did one time, but it's a lot to maintain.
It is, and I think that there's something, I think when you like break it down into like the chemical, like the way that like we are biologically, I think that there's a lot of that too. Is like, there's that act of like, this is like a fundamental, like kind of like a thing like some men get in, like it's like this is kind of a fundamental thing that men do, and
it's one of the most manly things out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
A beard.
that and shooting guns. But.
Yeah. But even women can't grow a beard. Well, most of them can't grow a beard.
I've come across a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Sure. Well, I just remember when I had a beard, I went on a trip to Gulf Shores, and I remember on my trip just going down. This is when it was at its fullest, and mine was super curly and like super thick. Okay. Like a Rick Ross beard, like real fat and thick. And all I did was get out, dry it off, and take off. At the beginning of it. After a while, I did get a beard straightener and stuff. But I had 12 people. From leaving my house here, I drove down. I had 12 people compliment my beard. Guys. They're all guys.
Yeah.
But they're all like, nice beard, and ask me questions on it. It's amazing what a conversation starter it is.
My wife claims that I only grow the beard for other men. She's like, you never see a woman walking up to you, like very few and far between. But she's like, it's always dudes. And, and I laugh, and I'm like, at first I was like, oh, should I be offended at that? But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, other guys are saying I don't have the freedom to be able to grow a beard like that.
Yeah.
So that's
they're a little envious. Yeah.
So
yeah, you almost do it for them too.
Yeah. So I don't do any straightening on mine. Mine just kind of grows a little bit straighter. When it's short, it gets really curly. But I think I've had a beard for all 7 of the years that we've been running the distillery.
It fits.
Yeah.
It fits. It's great for it. Do you beard oil it?
What
Put any beard oil in it?
I do.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, I make my own because I'm just like very, very conscious of chemicals. I just want to make sure that it's like, So I make most of my own stuff,
Sure.
and that's just kind of,
Seems to fit your atmosphere. Maybe one day you start selling some beard oil.
there we go. That'll be the next business.